What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Alan. I'm the Crypto Navigator. Welcome to the Navigator Show. I have DJ Jazzy Sean on tonight. Appreciate you coming out, Sean. We got several others showing up late tonight. I know there's a lot going on, a lot of other streams going on talking about this new Fit 21 bill coming out. And God, man, I'm excited about it. Appreciate everybody showing up in the chat. What's up, Sean? How you doing tonight?
Yo, you on the mic with Mike. What's the deal in the hills?
And as always, we have the legendary Silver Day showing up for the very first person. He's pretty consistent. What's up? What's up, Dexterius and Patsy? Good to see you. Sophie, good comment. Wow. Good comment in the Blue Crew chat tonight. Rain here. What's up, Rain? Yeah, I'm a little late tonight. Everybody's kind of showing up late and million texts at the same time. Rain knows it's not easy to get the troops together and get them all round up at the same time. So it's tough. Alex, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in the chat. And we got some others showing up here. Ed, thanks for showing up, buddy. Good to see you, man. Lower level showing up. We got James68J still streaming. He's got Echo and somebody else on. So they'll probably be coming over too. Gmail Brown in the house. What's up, buddy? So guys, we'll be talking about Fit 21. What's it going to do? Where we're going forward from here. For the first time in years, we actually got Congress kind of working together. It's pretty surprising for an upside down world that we've been living in for so many months now. Nice to see something good come to it.
Hold on.
What is your opinion on that, Sean? What's your gut feeling on why we're here at somewhat of beginning of innovation?
Okay, so Alan, because I am sometimes kind of sort of a co-host, I just got to say this. First of all, shout out to the chat, everybody that's in that you just named, a bunch of good people, some OGs, including Sophie and Patsy, that've been around for literally years and that have, kind of followed the information and the content creators that wanted to expose that information. Thank you guys for being here. When you said Ed, is that Edward Franzlowski?
That's right. In the house.
Dude, that dude has been around since 2018. Shout out to him. Shout out to Rain. Where do I think this is going? I think we are on not the precipice, that one step before the precipice where things are about to really change. If this FIT Act passes through the House, then it's got to go to the Senate. Whether it's going to make it through the Senate, my first thought was that it wasn't going to make it, but if Chuck Schumer is signing off on it as the House Majority Leader, as the Senate Majority Leader, then I think it's got a good chance. And if Nancy Pelosi's okay with it, then it's got a better chance, even if Senator Warren is against it. So I think we got some, what do they call it? We got the wind to our back a little bit.
That's wind to our sails. That's correct. Absolutely right on, Sean. Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, most of us here that have been here for a long period of time, many years in the crypto space, know that realistically the regulatory body that's really been in control and has established real crypto regulations for the most part is the CFTC. And they should have, when they actually settled with Ripple, they didn't do us any due diligence. They didn't get anything through Congress and hammer it into the code, Now I did put some comments in somebody that was streaming the thing, and I hope that the regulatory bodies get this into their head. If you're going to pass regulations or you're going to put regulations in the House and then through Senate, you need to make sure that you put it in the United States code, because nothing ever gets done unless it's done by the United States code. So when the FTC actually did settle with Ripple, they should have put it in the code, and it's their fault for not doing it. So they screwed us. Then they let the SEC drag into the lawsuit a case that they should have never had any regulatory clarity of. And the whole time, I think they knew. I think Gary Gensler knew for a whole year that he was going to lose control, and they were going to label it as a commodity, which the FTC literally labeled it as a commodity, as a digital asset when they settled. So this has all been a sham to me. It's just been a power grab and a stall tactic because friction makes money. And that's what this has really been about. Friction makes money for the old archaic system, and they were going to drag it out as long as they can and make the most money as they can. But now that the rest of the world is moving forward, they can't sit on their hands anymore. And now it's time for what Tim Draper dropped 4 years ago when Gary finally at the end said, yeah, then they get on board. You know,
well said. Well said.
I want to find that video and play it. I'm going to try to find it before we end the stream tonight, just to play like a little clip of it.
Yeah, just go to YouTube, type in Gary Gensler, Tim Draper, and it'll pull
Yeah. No, I'm going to try to find it while others.
I live by that video.
Yeah, it's great. You know, I think a lot of times throughout history, people had to reveal what their initial plan is for whatever reason. May it be envy or to rub it in people's face, or literally that's how law works, and mainly God's law. I think the evil has to really expose himself, and ultimately that's generally what happens.
That's God's law, and that's also human nature. We are compelled to do some of the dumbest things, or when we think we have the edge, we have to brag about it.
Yeah, FinCen also, good comment there, Rain. I love the comments, guys. Drag Dubs, good to see you up in here. Devon, good to see you, my friend. Lower level, I think I shot you at. Crypto Mountain Man, what's up, buddy? Rye Guy up in the house. Good to see you, Rye Guy. Gmail Brown, I think I shouted you out just in case I didn't. Good to see you up in here. And I've got a couple others showing up. Now, the funny thing is, I put it on Twitter too, and I can never see those statistics as I'm streaming. But anybody that's on Twitter watching, shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. When you're coming in, please like the video if you like the content that I'm sharing. All the links to anyone that comes onto the channel that has their own channel will be in the description below. So in the comments, if you look under the description below, those that'll be popping in, some of the other YouTubers that'll be coming in tonight, they always will get a listing at the bottom of the comments for their channel if you like what they're sharing on my stream as well. For those that are new coming in, my stream is designed for utility-based crypto YouTubers to come onto one stream and share content with the community in Blue Crew chat. People that are been in the community and XRP and other utility-based assets. I allow some of the moderators and some of the Blue Crew to come in and talk shop and share their knowledge. And we got one right now. We got Nerdy X showing up. His link is in the description at the bottom of the channel as well. Nerdy brings us amazing amount of content. He's not nerdy for no reason. He's very smart and intelligent young man. I met him personally. Very, very knowledgeable. Nerdy, I don't know if you could share a little bit of what you got today. Would appreciate it.
Hold on real quick. Alan, first of all,
sure.
I want everybody to know that Alan puts a lot of work into doing this stream. We talk offline not all day, but a lot. And he puts a lot of work in, so I appreciate it. And Nerdy, what's up, Nerdy? First of all, what's up? But second of all, Nerdy's content is not aggressively average. What's up, Nerdy?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Pretty good. What's going on?
Nothing. I was just in the midst of doing some research, so that's why I was in and out earlier.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Some people need to take a break from research, but Nerdy just doesn't.
Yeah. I was just I was looking into the Bank of England.
The BOE, pray tell.
If people don't know, everything is dictated upon the Bank of Japan. The Bank of Japan is the largest holder of United States bonds, which is our debt. Um, China and Japan are battling each other. So if one decides to dump, the other will dump, and the world will dump. And it's just a cascading effect. So it's not looking good for the old system. I'll put it that way. It's looking real good for the new system. It's not looking good for the old system. Put it that way.
I think we need that RLUSD to buy up those treasuries, though.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I love people don't really understand the history of stuff because I realize like no one cares. All this stuff goes back to the East Indian Company. There was Dutch, French, and then you had the Arab slave trade. So we go through cycles in everything within life, in cosmos and history and everything. There's always cycles. The cycle that we're going through today is the ending of something that was started way before, back in the 1600s, 1500s even. And what's happening is the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. This new cycle will last for millennia, and then after the ending of this new cycle, during the ending of that millennia time, there'll be another cycle that will roll in, and then that cycle will be another cycle, and that we were not going to be here for that cycle. But the cycle that we're in today is a beginning of a millennium cycle. So yeah, Rain says Age of Aquarius, which is exactly right. So people don't really understand how everything is connected. Everyone thinks everything is separate, but it's not. Everything's related, and we're just here for the show, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah, we're witnessing the greatest show on earth right now. That's what I was mentioning earlier. I don't know if you heard. I was just mentioning about, the other regulatory body that when they settled the last case, they really had ultimate authority over it. They labeled it a commodity, and the SEC getting involved and trying to mainly stall innovation. That's what it was really about. They never had any kind of regulatory clarity to actually do anything with the space. They knew it, I think, for many years. This has just been what I was saying is it's money and friction. There's lots of money and friction, and to remove that friction will unfortunately cause less money and profit to the old archaic system and people that are in control of it. And I think what you were alluding to ultimately is what potentially this bill that could get passed. If we abolish the Fed, that will literally get rid of all the old archaic system, the federal, non-federal chokehold on the rest of the world. The fiat system will die. So will the fiat debt with the old system.
Can I jump in on that?
Sure.
Well, what I was thinking is, I would love to abolish the Fed. Like, I really, really would. But that would do, in my opinion, that would do one of two things. It would give us, in the financial world, give us a whole lot more freedom. And that's a good thing. But that'll also create a vacuum. And how does that vacuum get replaced? And the vacuum will get bigger because if the Fed gets abolished in the United States, then the same thing might happen to the BOE, Bank of England, or some of these other central banks in major G7 countries, and what type of problem would that present? Not that I don't want to get rid of it. I'm just saying that's something to think about.
We don't need the Federal Reserve at all whatsoever. Like at all. We'll be fine without it. We're not even supposed to even have a Federal Reserve. That's why we have a Treasury.
Correct.
And we also don't need 40% tax on all of our goods. If this is actually going to work and we actually can get to a 12% tax and get rid of the Fed, which is nothing federal about it, get rid of a communist bank that has controlled the rest of the world since, its inception. There's been many fiat systems. This is just another fiat collapse of a federal system that should have never happened in the first place. We went from a 2% tax to a 40% tax. Right. This is not a sustainable thing. And I pray that this is the case and some of these things actually come to fruition. So
Alan, everything's gonna come to fruition, bro. Everything. The ending of the Fed, the minting of new currency, all of it. It's all gonna come true. You want to know why? Because it's inevitable. You could only run a fake system for so long until you have to find a new system. This is why Augustus, the leader right now of the BIS, says that you can't keep having the same system and trying to upgrade an old legacy system. Eventually, it's going to come to the point where you just have to throw it away. And that's exactly what we're going to come to. Is you're just going to throw everything away, because all this stuff that we're going through today was a problem that was brought up way back in the early 1900s, and they solved for it. They're called pool clearings. And I'll keep bringing this up because it was written in 1947, 1946. And the pool clearing, what it does is that each nation will have its own clearing fund, and those clearing funds clear payments between each other. So that's how you get your MCBDCs, you get your global stable coins, and you get that financial structure for that reason. And the only thing the biggest thing before the Bank of England, what I was just digging into, was they used to trade in actual currencies and actual coins and stuff, but no one knew the actual purity of each coin. So they would dilute the coins, and then that created friction in the system. So they moved to ledgers. Those ledgers allowed international trade. Now the thing is, you have to understand is that we're moving from a ledger that was created way back when, because they realized that that we needed a ledger solution, to a decentralized ledger system where everything is on a ledger. I mean, it's pretty insane to think of, right? So we're actually again, cycles. We're actually going full blown around, but in this time around, we're utilizing a ledger and utilizing purity of physical assets by digitizing them, tokenizing them, and that creates micropayments, something that was never possible before. So again, it's the ending of a new cycle and the ending of an old cycle, beginning of a new cycle. But this new cycle takes traits from the old cycle and perfects them in this new cycle.
And so it's trustless.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about the purity of the metal, or gold or silver or whatever.
Because the whole point of the financial system is for trust. It's a medium of trust, right? That's what you're exchanging, is a medium of trust. It's not a medium of exchange of a monetary currency or note or anything. It's you're exchanging trust. I trust that this is worth this value, and you're trusting that you're accepting it, knowing that it's worth that value. So within that, you have a means of exchange. We went from bartering seashells to bartering notes and certificates. Now you can take those certificates and go to your bank and withdraw that weight of what the certificate says for precious metals. So that's exactly the same system we're moving in. But that system, what I described to you, is an SDR. An SDR is a basket of currency that allows you to withdraw the weight of your currency. And if you look at the U.S. debt clock, it shows you a note of Kennedy, but it says certificate, while the old federal note says Federal Reserve note, which is a debt note. So debt will go back away. And Lower says, let's go back to seashells. And I say, hey, let's do it. Let's go. Utilize those seashells and let's do it.
No, dude, you're right. You're 100% right. Traits from the old system into the new system, but made more trustless than ever before. If I went to a yard sale and bought an old fishing rod for $2, but the guy that accepted the $2 knew that was worth what $2 worth in gold, pre 1971, of course. But yeah, that's what we're going to, and I think anybody on this in this chat or on this stream is understanding that even though it's going to take time, that's where we're headed, and we are ahead of the curve as 85 million people into crypto in the United States. We are ahead of 2/3 of the country, which means probably 2/3 of the globe. That's pretty powerful.
The reason for the collapse is everything is over leveraged. Everything.
Correct.
Every single market, every single industry, every single sector is over leveraged. And when you have over leverage and then you create inflation with that over leverage, what do you create? You create a bubble that's going to burst. No matter which way you look at it, it's going to burst, right? But the only difference is this time it was over leveraged on commercial real estate. Yep. When you over leverage on commercial real estate, which everything is backed by, you create a create an economic crisis of global scale where you have to have a new system. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, and after the over leveraging of commercial, now we're in the world of over leveraging of residential.
Exactly.
I just talked to a friend of mine today. He has a house that's literally half the size of mine. I'm not saying I live in a mansion or anything, because I definitely don't. But his house is, square footage wise, is way less than mine. But because they're about to build a smart city a mile away from his neighborhood, now he can sell his house for $150,000 more than mine.
Estimated. It's not reality, because let's talk about the market, because the commercial market is terrible right now, and you were talking about money backed and how it's working and moving around logistically. That's liquidity also, and that amount of commercial real estate that's being dumped on top of what Japan's dumping is creating a serious situation. Now, the next phase is going to be retail homes being dumped. All the people that have Airbnbs or second and third homes, they're struggling right now to even rent them out. They'll be dumping them soon, and all of the...
It's going to be worse than that, Alan. They're not going to be dumped. They're going to be collateralized. So when the banks start failing and they start collateralizing loans just to save their own ass, well, there goes everyone's loan. And I'm not talking specifically just home loans. I'm talking car loans. I'm talking any kind of loan that you took out. All of it will be collateralized. On top of that, you have bail-ins. So anyone who has deposited money into a bank account, they can declare bail-ins and they say, hey, we'll give you stocks instead for your funds. If the stocks are not worth nothing, well, I don't know what to tell you, but this is all I can do. This is why the FDIC had that meeting and informing each other that, hey, we don't have enough money. And when people find out that we cannot bail everyone out, then we're going to be screwed. We need to find out where we can hide. That's exactly what that conversation was.
Yeah. What about so a lot of people take and put trust in the FDIC, which is an insurance company, which in my opinion, insurance companies were made to fail as well. So when the fiat system fails, I personally don't think a federalized, non-federalized, an insurance company is actually going to be able to pay out even a small percentage of money back to the American people that have their money locked up in an account.
No. An insurance company is only designed to pay out probably 10% of the inflows it gets a year, if not maybe 25%. It's just like the FDIC. It's just like the fractional reserve lending. The insurance companies were never designed to be backed 1-to-1 to pay out every insuree all in the same year for a claim. Never was designed that way.
That's right.
This is why we're going to go through a clearing collapse, because what's going to happen is that the FDIC won't be able to save the banks, and so the FDIC will have to go to the DTCC, but the DTCC won't be able to save the FDIC. So the DTCC will have to go to the SEC, but the SEC themselves can't do it. So the SEC will have to go to Congress or the Supreme Court, and then that would lead for all the HR bills and all the SA bills to be enacted. This is why Trump said, again, what Dub said about returning to the gold standard and how it was the most important executive order. That's the reason why it was so important.
Right, because they would end up having to go to the BIS and the IMF to do up the SDRs to get those out to, relax everything. But there's nothing there. There's not enough of there. Unless you get back on the gold standard and revalue gold at anywhere between, and I'm just spitballing here, anywhere between $10,000 an ounce and $40,000 an ounce, and that balances the books. Which means it's all still kind of fake, because you take a precious metal at its intrinsic value, raise the value just to clear balance sheets. I love gold, but it's still just gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But gold is liquidity, right? In a liquidity crisis, it's the only out. That's why a reevaluation will occur. A reevaluation of silver and a reevaluation of gold will occur.
Right, but that's just an accounting procedure to me.
And there's still friction. Sorry, go ahead, John.
No. I was just going to say, to me, that's just an accounting procedure. I agree with it wholeheartedly. But at the same time, if gold is reevaluated at $40,000 an ounce, that means your iPhone or Android is going to go from being $1,000 to $8,000 for a phone.
No, it won't, because what the whole point is purchasing power, and the whole purchasing power is based off of liquidity, right? So in a liquidity crisis, you would have to convert, you would have to revalue everything, and then the cost of living and everything would go down, actually, rather than going up, because your dollar would have more purchasing power.
And that machine is not going to be made with gold for much longer. They have like there's all kinds of new technology coming out, Sean. They have literally the not to go on a whole nother topic, but I mean there's literally technology that's paintable that you wouldn't even need gold for a conductive source. There's graphene. You can make a phone with graphene and get rid of gold completely out of the phone.
That would make
or
sense,
silver.
I don't want to pay $8,000 for a laptop or a phone.
Yeah, you won't even need to.
What we're talking about is Basel III. If you look at Basel III requires 7% interest for liquidity pools, and it requires everyone to hold a certain percentage of gold and silver.
Correct. It was only 2% before that. Is that correct? That's what the minimum requirement was for the banking regulations as far as liquidity.
Yeah, but what did Janet do? Janet in March 2020, Janet said that you don't need no more reserves. You don't need anything. You can print all away. It doesn't matter, right? So
yeah, but isn't that what the new? I mean, so the Basel III was the 7%. So that's not really completely fully implemented until the 2030 agenda. Is that correct? Or is it the 2025 for Basel III? I can't remember. I'd have to look it up just right offhand. But what was the timeline, Nerdy? Was it 2025 or 2030 was the full Basel?
25.
25. Okay. So that's great. I mean, we don't have a lot of time for that. And it's like I always tell people.
And this is the reason why we're seeing regulation come forth between April and July. And this is why Ripple released their stablecoin in the beginning of April, because they knew that you had between April and July to get financial regulation into play. And then from July to November will be all geopolitical stuff all geopolitical tensions that would need to be solved to get ready and prepared for November timeline. Because CBR Plus said that November 2024 was you had to get your regulations in order to get prepared for 2025, where there's nothing on the agenda for 25. It's all adoption of 25, right? And then that's like full implementation, full adoption, full blown. Let's go. And then we have FedWire going live on the 10th or something of March, right? So there's timelines that have to be met. Everything in the world runs off of the banking sector. Nothing runs with or without the banking sector. The banks run this world, right? So for you to understand any kind of geopolitical tension or any kind of anything, look at the banks. The more that the banks suffer is the more chaos that occurs. This is why we're having everything that we have.
Right. What's up,
Exactly.
6'8"?
What's up, James?
6'8"?
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
What's up, 6'8" in the house?
My man's. What's up, buddy?
Nothing, man. We're just chilling, hanging out, having a good conversation about Basel III.
Love it, brother. I love it, man. I'm happy to be able to jump on. I just literally finished my live with Echo and Rico, so I literally got off and then I had to take care of a couple things, and I wanted to make sure that I jump on and show some love to y'all.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, James. Yeah, good stream, man. Finally got Quincy on. I know it was a little miscommunication in the last one. I was talking with him, and I'm glad you guys connected and got him. That was a good stream too. I love picking his brain. Love the way that brain thinks, man. Like he's got a million ideas. I'm really excited about where XDC's going. So super glad you had him on your channel. You've been getting a lot of really amazing talent on your channel, brother. I'm really happy for you and seeing where God's taking it, man.
And it was a great show. He obviously had the little dental work. He let me know that he wasn't gonna be able to make it, then turn right back around and it was to come on. And I think he even had like some follow-up dental work. So the day he came on, he let me know. He said, "I'm gonna come on, but I'm not gonna be able to do video because of his looks." I guess I don't know what happened, but it looks. I don't know if he got what happened where maybe a tooth got knocked out or something. So he didn't want to come on and be missing a tooth. So I guess he still has to get some stuff done. But I appreciate the fact that he came on, and then his energy level went up, and Quincy's a brilliant mind, so that was definitely amazing.
No,
he
that's
told
cool.
me emergency surgery. I was like, yeah, I better tell him it's emergency. Yeah.
Whatever it
That's
was,
cool.
man. If you knock your tooth out, that's pretty serious. Whatever happens.
Oh, and
Yep.
that Linda P. Jones interview was great too, bro.
Oh man, yeah, for sure, bro.
Oh, thank you, my guys. I appreciate you guys in major way. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm working on right now a couple other people through their people. John Deaton is one of them, and so yeah,
Nice.
we got some great stuff coming up, man. Some of these things are a little bit more of a process of getting people on. You got to go through a couple loopholes. I got Gary Cardone that I'm working on right now. Gary Cardone, he's gonna be coming on the show. So yeah, I'm just he gave me the yeah, I'm down. Just go through my people. So some of these people you got to go through their people, but yeah, it's gonna be great.
James Nerdy
That's
has had got some amazing content he's putting together and been getting some pretty big hitters on his little stream he's got going on too. I got his link in the bottom of the chat so you can find Nerdy's channel if you're not already following him.
Yeah, nice.
He's been teaming up with Echo and a few others and CyberX and a few of the others. He's been putting together some really good content too. So
yeah, that's what it's all about, is getting the content out there. Rico and Echo will be on every Wednesday for Hanging with the Fellas. Every Wednesday at 5. We're trying to do like ladies' night, but with the Hanging with the Fellas. So if you guys ever want to be a part of Hanging with the Fellas, let me know. You guys are welcome to come on Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll definitely have to have you guys on as well.
I'm
awesome.
down. I'm down to be a hype man.
Hey, I love where this space is going. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of our collective family that we've been following for years all come together, which is great because there was so much tribalism the first years I was in crypto, man. I hated it. It's just like you got to go on the 5 different channels to follow all your digital assets that you love and you want to get information on. And I mean, that's why I started this thing, and other people have done something similar, and it just providing that extra little opportunity for everybody to come on and do something and talk about stuff is
well, yeah, it seems like more and more people are doing it now. Like I know when I first started bringing a lot of guests on, this wasn't as much, but now you're seeing like a lot of people starting to do it now. But I mean, I think it's great, man, because I think that's what it's all about, is bringing the recognition, getting where people can get out there and just get the truth. And especially right now, I'm sure you guys talked about the whole Fit 21 that got passed, and that's a huge step for crypto. We talked about that on the show right now, and then obviously we got the stable coin bill. So I just think we're getting to the point now, and I don't know if you guys covered this because I just came in, that we're getting more and more close to a point where when people make that statement that hey, the low prices are going to be passing people by here shortly. I think as more and more of these things get passed, the likelihood of having a nice little uptick where people should be hopefully position themselves before that happens, man, big time, because once it happens, there'll be a whole lot of people very regretful.
Well said, my friend.
Absolutely. And we know that RL USD is about to hit the scene. Ripple USD.
Yeah, I was a little shocked, man. I thought no, I'm happy that is we actually got a name now, the RL USD, but I really thought it was going to be USD X, and then to find out that Flare got that, I was like, what? Like it's almost like people saw Ripple and it's like, hey, I don't know if they got wind that there was a stable coin, but it's just funny now people are popping up with stable coins. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's inevitable. I mean, we all know it's going to be a basket of currencies.
Do you guys know why? Do you guys know why we have stable coins?
You got to have some kind of stable value. People are going to cash out. I mean, let's face it. If you're moving in and out of digital assets, you got to have some kind of stable value of something. Stable
coins is for regulation, because you can't have mainstream a market without regulations. In order to deal with anything with finance, you have to have something that can be and will be audited. That's the only way how you can create trust. That's the only reason for the stable coin. If you're going to transfer money across nations, you need to have an audited, stable, regulated entity or output that you can use for that purpose. Meaning, this is why we have everything going on with Tether. This is why Tether is going under so many scrutinies, because they're not legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't validate all their assets, and they don't have a regulatory treasury person essentially for that. Like I remember when Ben actually was ballsy enough to go down to the Bahamas and actually confront the bank that actually was supposedly doing USDT. That was a pretty ballsy move, but I mean, nothing ever came about it, you know? We haven't heard anything else since that guy actually went down there, which is crazy for a company that's putting what they just printed $1 billion USDT yesterday, another billion, and then USDT printed another 500 million. Where are those? I mean, USDC is supposedly regulated, but now Tether isn't. So it's crazy how that can actually be printed, and that liquidity is actually, we know, going to go into the market.
They've been operating, kind of piggyback off you what you're saying, Crypto Navigator. They've been in a gray area for so long, and I'm sure Nerdy X has something to say about that. I mean, they've gotten away with, because remember, they've always avoided big audits. They've always paid fines to have light audits. They operate in ways of not being, really having to worry about any regulatory authority. Like I said, they've been, a lot of people attribute the 68,000 run we had in 01 to Tether money printing. And here they're just still doing the same thing. So it's almost like, let's just keep printing. Let's keep doing what we have to do until, think about it. They've got no one to answer to until the act comes out. And, they're just printing away. So it's going to be very interesting to see, how they're affected when this happens, and how hard, whether it's the SEC, I don't know if that's going to be the case now, but whoever goes after them, or because, once that happens, they have to comply. And we all know that they're not going to be able to comply as of the way things are right now. So it's going to be really interesting as you see the implosion, I think, of USDT and then these others that are coming out like USDX and RL, because I don't know, I can't speak for Flare, but I know that with Ripple, they're going to do everything the right way. And so, I think a lot of that money that exits out of USDT will probably head into these other stable coins that are going to be legit and backed and following, the guidelines of where they're supposed to.
And have custody solutions as well. So that's another thing. Didn't mean to cut anybody off. Mm-hmm. But the other big picture is these institutions want custody these assets. They don't want to have to custody themselves. So those that are going to provide not only the liquidity, but the custody solution are going to be the winners in this space. And I don't know of anything else right now that has a stable coin with custody, Medico and other. It's Nerdy is Standard Charter. Do you think they're actually going to custody as well with Medico?
Because Standard Charter is a deep tied partner with Ripple. Deep tied partner with Ripple. Like
two custody solutions. I do believe there's three. I'm sorry I did cut you off. There's a third one though, and I think it's also a partner with Standard Charter of some sorts, or a separate entity.
BNY Mellon.
If people want to look at Tether and why it's such a big deal, you can look at one thing. Bitfinex. let's look at BitConnect, bro. Look at that.
But BNY Mellon.
Tether is the fuel to the market right now. So Tether runs the market. Everything is tied to the corn, and the corn runs the market up or down. So the more Tether they print, is the corn goes up, and as the corn is mining, and now these miners are mining the coins, Aladdin is going and buying it all up. So the supply on the exchanges are diminishing at such a rapid pace that people are like, what the hell is going on?
But Nerdy, you got to remember that BNY Mellon is the oldest legacy custodial platform.
BNY Mellon is the bank of banks, 100%. Right. Yeah,
but I do know what you're saying about BitConnect. I get that. I definitely get that.
So the whole crypto space right now, at the current pace of the crypto space, is unregulated, right? In the West, it's unregulated because the West and because the dollar is such a huge, a global thing, right? Everything, it depends off the dollar, and everyone's currency is based off the dollar. It's the reason why everyone is moving away from the dollar, because they're trying to save their nation. They're trying to prevent a inevitable outcome, but they cannot. This is why everyone is moving to digital assets.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, everything that we see and view today is manipulated. It's fake. None of it is real. So this is the reason why Cat with the Hat is worth more than XRP. Or this is the reason why Shiv and Dodge are doing what they're doing. It is a casino. It's all degenerate gambling at this point. But if you want to take this whole sector seriously, you need stable coins. You need regulations. You need all these things, right? XRP itself is not going to be the stable coin at all whatsoever. It cannot be a stable coin, right? XRP is a mean of exchange, is a vehicle. So
anybody that thinks it's a stable coin, they're really clueless.
People who think it's a stable coin, or people who think that it can be backed by any physical asset or backed by anything, it cannot. It's simply just it's a gas token / vehicle of to use the network.
Right.
That's all it is.
But in the early days, people thought, me included, was that XRP might be pegged to gold or to.
It cannot, because who's going to audit those reserves?
I know. I'm just saying that.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people thought 4 years ago, that's what they thought, because they had their minds. Okay, the ecosystem had expanded enough for people to think kind of like outside the box, so to speak. But yes, you're right. XRP is just a token. It's just a medium of exchange to go from dollar to ruble to rupee to the yuan. It doesn't matter. Whatever those different values of or the other currencies, it can't hold that value for more than 3 seconds. So the stable coin will do, and I got this from DAI, that a stable coin for the RLUSD might be able to do for XRP the same thing that Tether has done for, what'd you call it, the corn coin?
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Corn.
Yeah.
So that's the prevailing thought now.
Exactly. Because what's going to happen is that we cannot forget about Interledger. Interledger is the internet of value, right? But you have to understand that how David tells everyone and how the AMM works and how all these markets work is that we're not worried about the reason why volatility is good in the AMMs and how you're going to do international swaps and everything is that you're only worried about those few seconds. You need to have only those few seconds be good. And while that value is being switched from X currency to whatever currency, that is the only market that matters. And when that market makes that exchange and delivers it, that happens within seconds. So volatility is a good thing, because the more volatility means that the more people are using the network, meaning that the price of the coin goes up. And it just keeps having that cycle. So this is why you have the riddlers that say it'll go up and never stop. Again, because the XRP itself has a diminishing supply, and the value comes from that diminishing supply. So the more people who utilize the network, the higher the value goes.
One of the things I want to bring in is that it's crazy because for the last probably at least 3 or 4 months, I've been saying, or not 3 or 4 months, but since they were talking about, well, this is probably about 60 days, they were talking about ETH as a security. Ever since Gary Gensler talked about that, and I just said, man, this is a bunch of crock. Even Brad Garlinghouse said, hey, they're not gonna prove that ETH is a security. For whatever reason, he felt that way. I just felt it was all BS. And the thing that really irritated me is when you look at the fact that they just mentioned, not that they have proof, they were just a bunch of freaking corrupted bullies that said, XRP is a security, and we went through years of torment, suppression, 100+ million fines, FUD, everyone hating on us, every exchange dropping us, and that went on for years. Ethereum's called a security. Everybody sings Kumbaya, and less than 60 days later, they're talking about approving a Ethereum ETF. It's just, to me, it's a damn joke. The whole thing is a joke, and it's not. And I'm with Echo, as we were talking about on the show. I don't want to. It's not that I'm trying to say I want to see people hurt. I want to see Ethereum crash and go away. No, I think it's too important I just hate the fact of how they got there. And the fact that they're not playing by the same damn rules. And a lot of people with Ethereum were able to pad their pockets, get super wealthy. I mean, we know the coin was down at $17. Look where it's at now. And if an ETF gets approved, you could be talking about a 5,000 on its way to $6,000 Ethereum over in the blink of an eye. And yet here we are still looking all these years later at a 50 cents. XRP, and it's just sad. It's ridiculous. So I say all that to say that I really hope and I appreciate, should I say, the fact that all this positive stuff with Fit 21, with the Stablecoin Act that's looking to be put in place, that hopefully at some point we're in a position where all this stuff that we've gone through, we finally start seeing something positive for the XRP community. And again, I'm very well diversified, but I'm just telling you, I hate the fact that this asset has been so bullied and everything just seems to come so easy to everybody else. There's even stuff on X now where people are saying, is Solana ETF next? Is a so easy? And I'm just like, this is crazy, man. It's just nuts.
Well, part of the problem is there's most of the liquidity is coming in DeFi, and it's in Bitcoin and Ethereum. We never really had DeFi for XRP or even XLM, some of our biggest assets. This is why the price isn't moving until you get major liquidity coming into this space and actually utilizing the liquidity. You're not going to get any major price movement. This is why we've been so suppressed and why they continue to manipulate and work on the private ledger. None of that liquidity is actually shown on the public ledger, the secondary market. Now, there's 55 million XRP billion that could be bought up really quickly with the limited amount of actual real tokens that are on these exchanges. So we could see a major price increase if we do get some movement of liquidity pools. Now that we do have these addendums, this could actually happen pretty quick. Go ahead, Sean. I didn't mean to cut you off. I knew you had something.
No, what I was going to say is to piggyback off what 6-8 was saying is that, I think about the time horizon it took for an Amazon or a Google to get to mass adoption. And one of the things that comes to mind is that regulators got in the freaking way. So if it took Amazon 20 years to get to where they need to be or where they wanted to be, getting sued by the SEC or by the DOJ, that slowed their progression. And when we talk about when 6-8 was talking about XRP and XLM to a lesser degree getting bullied or whatever, is that if the regulators would just ease up, then the adoption would happen much sooner because the technology and the utility is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only reason why nothing happened with Ethereum is because Ethereum is 100% backed by JP Morgan and BlackRock, and also with China. It's the only reason why.
Yep.
So anything that happens with Ethereum, their ETH is still real. It is still a corrupt thing. It's still a security. They still did the whole IPO thing. There's still dirt in the space. Same with the corn, right? The corn is an NSA thing. So if we're going to move to a system where, we want to be free and we want to be disattached from the government and we don't want all this blah, blah, blah. Well, you need regulation. Regulation and standardization equals decentralization. Without those things, we have nothing. So for Bitcoin for people to think, we have partial clarity from the DTCC and from the SEC. They said it was a commodity, blah blah blah. Yeah, but what has Congress said? Has Congress said anything? Nothing is final. We have nothing in the United States. That's the thing that people don't realize. Everything can change overnight. Everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's the point I keep trying to bring to people's attention, right? Is that 90% of coins on the market are ERC20 coins. So if something gets declared a security, well, bye-bye. The halving did nothing for Bitcoin. Neither did the ETF. The price is still the same.
Yep.
So all this other like things, variables that people are talking about, they mean absolutely nothing, to be honest.
Yeah,
right?
But the halving doesn't bear fruit for like 16 months.
But all the halving did was lower was give less incentives to other miners, because now they're
No,
not
no, no,
making as much.
no. But traditionally, over the last what 4, 8, 12, 16 years, is that the halving
And the
didn't
thing that
bear fruit in terms of
and the
price
thing
for
that
like 12.
and the thing that the BIS said and explained, and also the World Bank and all that, also the WEF, how they explain it is that they can have a proof of work type system where they don't know who is mining and who is making money. It can be terrorists, it can be good people, it can be bad people, but they don't know. But that alone affects the financial markets.
I think I found the Tim Draper video. Just want to play it real quick for you guys. I think this is it.
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
So what?
Just
what
feel the panic in their voices. Here's what always happens. The first thing that happens is they try to go, oh, it's nothing. And they did that. I mean, the incumbents, the status quo, all say, it's nothing. Don't ignore the man behind the curtain. This is nothing. And then all of a sudden it's too big to get in there. You know, they're going, oh my God, I got to face this thing. And then they say, okay, well, let's sue them, or let's go get the government.
There's another thing they do. They adopt the technology. I think.
No, that's at the end.
They
plant the press stories. They put out lawsuits. They create as much of a fuss as possible. They try to get their government friends involved. And then they go, oh God, this thing's happening.
Serve their clients better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs.
You can just hear the bankers panic.
Oh guys, that was
just
stop sharing here.
Yeah, this is
1 second.
I can talk about this all, but like, and I posted everything. But the thing is that the cold hard truth is that Bitcoin was just a test. It was just a test. XRP fixed everything and created something. This is the new world, and this is what's happening. Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink was Larry that said live on TV, we don't care what happens with Ethereum. We don't care what happens with Bitcoin. It can be declared whatever it wants to be declared. We'll keep trading the ETFs. We don't care. But who does that? What does those regulations affect? It affects investors who are investing into these things.
Yep.
It doesn't affect Larry. It doesn't affect any of those guys at all. They're not a custody, right? This is why we have a Matako, right, and all these other things, because they're the custody.
Yeah, they're closing all the doors. What's up, G? I think they're closing all the doors right now. Look how many exchanges kind of went away in the last few years. Look at all the on and off ramps that were closed down for the whole bear market. You know, they were getting to where there was only a couple on and off ramps, literally. And, you know, now we're at setting up regulations, setting up stablecoin regulations, and, you know, banks actually being able to, for the first time, actually give a green light to go ahead and utilize these assets. So that's not going to stop. They literally got, you know, Congress saying that they're, you know, pushing this forward. Now we still have to get it through the House, but I mean, at least we're at that point. So I'm super excited about where we're going.
This is the reason why the DTCC came out with their 100% haircut on Bitcoin. What they basically said is that we don't trust it, and you shouldn't trust it for loans or leverage. We think that it's too volatile. That's from the DTCC. And then you have other countries that are saying, hey, these people are stealing energy. We will fine you and we'll give you 10 years of prison for stealing energy because of the whole green agenda. You can't have Bitcoin with the green agenda. Pick one. Which one do you think is going to win? Bitcoin or a global effort for SDGs? Which one do you think is going to win? Well, most likely the SDGs.
Yeah,
right?
You have to have one other thing I'll just add. Now I'm going to shut up. You have to have currencies that are agnostic, meaning that everybody can use it. And, you know, I believe there's only 3 right now that are Sharia law compliant. And I've said this many times, but it's true. You got to have the whole world being able to adopt this technology, whatever it be, that's going to pass. So, you know, XRP, XLM, I think Quant, and maybe XDC are the Sharia compliant so far. I can't remember. There may be 4, but XRP was the first out of the gate. So hats off to them and how much they've accomplished. And also you have to have license agreements set up in countries and even states like we have here in the United States. So all those things have to play a part if they're going to be inclusive into the new financial system. So knowing how much research we've all done, those that are new here, these are some of the things that you need to pay attention to and pick up on if you want to know if you're in the right assets or not, and making good financial decisions long term and what you're invested in. So take the knowledge from this panel here. You got a lot of like-minded individuals that have many years of knowledge here, and use it for your advantage. So Adam, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. And
What's
GDLT, welcome.
What's up, Adam
welcome
and G?
in.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's up, guys?
What's up, fellas?
Adam, what you got? G, what you got?
I mean, I got deep reds if you want them.
I do, G. So those of you that are new in the chat or new to the stream, GDLT is a wonderful YouTuber, has the deep reds. And those that don't know anything about the deep reds, would you mind giving a little brief introduction of what you do on your channel, G? Because I love it. Your link is in the description of the channel. James68J is in the link of the description of the channel here. NerdyX as well is in the link of the description of the channel. Sean doesn't have an exact channel, but he kind of does. I'll put his link in the channel as well. Go ahead, G, though. Please explain about the deep reds.
Oh yeah, so what the deep reds are is basically the whole premise of my channel is basically become now trying to just find value for short-term and long-term, right? And I found the best way is just tackling deep reds, cryptos that are red across the board, maybe leading up like red across the board from the daily, the 20, the 7-day, the 30-day, the 90-day, and the yearly. Usually those are the best type of deep reds where it's like just nobody has faith in them. It's very bearish. Nobody wants to even touch them with a 10-foot pole. That's where we end up setting ourselves up for possibly good short-term gains to make, give ourselves options to cash out and maybe put it into the longer-term hodl portfolio type of cryptos, or to just set ourselves up for good long-term gains as well. So we believe we're going into another speculative bull cycle. So if that's the case, if you're just throwing money in this space, chances are that money will go up no matter what crypto you're touching with it. So we like tackling the deep reds because those are the ones that could possibly lead to a quick turnaround as well as long-term turnaround, depending on your trade style or, trading strategy or whatever you want to call it. So deep reds that are out there right now are things like XTC. This thing's been going sideways or just in the lows for God knows how long. Casper at 2 cents. Like, sentiment is so low on these cryptos right now, you guys, that nobody's talking about them. But the moment XTC goes up to 6 cents or the moment it goes up to 7 cents, everybody's going to be acting like they were telling you so when they really weren't. Nobody's telling you so when it's in the deep reds or, it's going sideways and it's boring, right? But our channel does that. We're looking for cryptos that are boring. Nobody wants to talk about that. Sentiment is at its lowest because that's where we can make our biggest returns.
And that's what I love about what you do with the deep reds, G. So
Nice.
It's wonderful. We got a great collective here. So we got GDLT that's really given the fundamental information that most people aren't paying attention to. Nerdy with the deep dives and all the back end fundamentals of where crypto's going and innovation and chains, how they work and how they're working together. How the quantum system works. Nerdy is great about that. We got Adam on board too. Adam comes from the financial background, knows a lot about finances and most of the back end stuff, and a lot about family offices and how that money works. So, Adam, if you got anything you want to share tonight, please share some knowledge. Brother.
Adam works in the industry, so if Adam knows something, he knows something. Put it that way.
Well, Thank you guys for that. But, I'm no better than anyone else. I'm just another person, another speck on the wall, as they say. But,
You're
our
no
family
worse
office right
than
now.
anybody else either. You're no worse than anybody else either.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, at family office, actually, we're working on structuring gold deals. So it's funny, as all these institutions are capitalizing and, hoarding gold, the family office right now is brokering gold deals as well. So everyone's tending to lean towards commodities such as precious metals. So that's how you could kind of know where the market is ultimately going.
Right on.
So that's big news. I think everyone kind of saw everything that went on with the SIPA law, and things are moving forward aggressively towards this tumultuous time of banking sector, right? And then also we had that patent that was just released not too long ago. I think it was the other day, right?
Which patent are you referring to?
What was it that sent it to me? Let me see if I can minimize and look at this at the same time while I'm on here without being thrown out of the chat. Give me 1 second. And
I don't think you can. If you're on the phone, I don't think you can.
No? Hold on. Wait.
You can try.
You can.
It worked.
I was going to say.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Does it work? Oh, see?
Yeah, while he's doing that, there's a lot of things on the plate right now. It's amazing how quick things have happened this year. Go ahead, G.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, if we got some time, more deep reds. SGB is under a penny right now. Expector in the XRPL. I've been really into getting into some metaverse tokens while the sentiment is low right now and nobody's talking metaverse. I feel like that hype cycle will come back around again. So, Gala, Expector, Mana, right? Those are good values looking like right now. Atlas token in the Solana ecosystem. Evmos is a really surprising crypto to me because I never would have ever thought that Ripple would shout them out or collaborate with them with the XRPL. So Evmos in the Cosmos ecosystem is at 5 cents. It's a 5 million total supply. That's a crazy value right there. We've been talking about this crypto, and I still think not enough people know about it, but it's called the Vega. It's at 65 million total supply at 49 cents right now. New kid on the block, Pantera Capital's invested in them. Spring Initiative by Ripple is invested in them. And Coinbase Ventures. So I'm seeing, and they're developing constantly. Like they got a good team over there with Vega. So that's definitely a major sleeper in my opinion. XPX I've talked about many times. It's at 0007 yet again. So able to just the thing I like about the deep reds in general, guys, it's like being able to chip away, never over leveraging, just chipping it away, coffee money. And then, since you're buying in them in such low sentiment, whenever you get a good fat green candle, you're getting really close to house money at that point, and then letting the house money play for you. So, that's what we try to set ourselves up with. And that's why we like, Kin, for example, Kin's part of the blockchain association that just got the FIT 21 bill passed by the House today, right? And it's moving on to the Senate. Kin is part of that blockchain association. And they're building like a whole ecosystem, and their price is still stuck where it was in like 2019. So
what
you
was
can get like
all-time
$1 million
high on that? Gee, sorry to interrupt you.
Let me check it out.
Because I was looking at something else. I will mention it. Very interesting. Not to bring up another token, but it's something I own. I don't think it's gonna be around forever, but Lunk had a good little run today, and I looked at their all-time high was like $141. If that would just get back to a penny, it would be amazing.
You're gonna shit your pants here, and excuse the language, but okay. The low right now is 4.018, right? So 4.018, you can get 1 million of them for $18. The all-time high. And there's never been more development in the ecosystem than there is today. The all-time high was 001. So you knocked out 2 zeros. That's 100x potential gain out of kin. And that's just it going back to its all-time high. And it's developed way more than it has there.
All right. Hey, Alan, I'm dropping off. I'm going to come right back in about 2 minutes.
All right, Sean. And Adam, is this the article you wanted me to pull up?
Yeah.
The stablecoin one?
Yep.
Okay, you want to talk about that?
Well, no, it's just that they were just hinting towards stablecoin, but look, they have a serial number. They have everything being, passed.
Yeah, it's like they got it ready.
Yeah, it's already ready. It's already serial numbered. It's already, patented. It's already ready to come into Congress. So it's funny that they were hinting
more than what they were leading on for sure.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said a couple streams back, I said, there's absolutely no way, in my opinion. I mean, let's face it. If they're going to get, I think we're up to 51 now. 51. We almost have all the states locked down for our automated market maker license. So in order to utilize that, you're going to have to utilize this stable coin. You're going to have to utilize XRP to transfer that value to speed of light, and especially at a fraction of a penny, just makes sense. And also the scaling abilities now, and DeFi coming into space too. That's what I was talking about early on. Like literally, to get the market cap, to get the price moving, to get some profits, you gotta have DeFi. You have to have major liquidity moving into space. We literally have every option now. We have liquidity that we could provide in multiple different frames and fashions. And we haven't even talked about any debt coming on the ledger once we actually do have a reset. And some of that actually comes on the ledger. That's going to be extremely exciting.
The debt that you're talking about is the derivatives market, which XDC and Ripple have a huge market in, and also Stellar. Stellar is already like multi-millions tokenized. So a lot of these networks, another thing I want to bring up, another subject is security, right? The whole point of any of this is security, is to reduce the cost of the money that they spend for cybersecurity, meaning any kind of hacking, any kind of stuff like that. But bad players in the market, anything like that, they want to minimize it. This is why having a quantum safe asset is such a big deal, right? Because at the end of the day, what we're going to move towards is a quantum network where you have DLT technology fusing in with quantum, fusing in with AI, right? And now you have a self-automated, monitoring system, right? And that creates something completely different that we've never had before.
Nerdy, you're talking about AI. Have you watched that whole interview with Joe Rogan and Terrence Howard?
With Terrence? Oh, yes, bro. What an interview, bro.
Right?
What a beautiful interview, man.
And he was the creator. He was the original creator of AI.
Of AI, right? And they just use his tech, right?
They use his tech, and it's nuts because he's talking about ripples. He's using all of the language that Ripple Labs is using.
Yep.
Dude, that's an interesting thing that I think can go into its own conversation with the Terrence Howard thing. Like, I just want to let people know, dude, this dude is a professional actor. This guy got nominated for an Oscar. He's very good at understanding a certain mindset or a certain way of viewing things, right? So he could be a chameleon, man. He can formulate anything to what the agenda is, right? And he's on a stage where there's millions of freaking eyes on it, right? And he's doing this performance with Joe Rogan. Dude, Joe Rogan and this dude got so much money. I wouldn't be surprised if they've gone to hundreds of private parties and all this type of bullshit with the elite type of thing. So the devil doesn't come.
And GDLT, why now? Why now out of all times is he talking about this? And think about it, Joe Rogan probably schedules out his podcast 2 years in advance, right?
Right.
2 years in advance. Why is his first thing that really started hitting mainstream? He said how currencies are the most irregular system within our they don't exist in nature, currencies. So why are we forcing currencies within the human population? So why would he? That was like the first thing when he was talking at the university level.
Dude,
and now
these are all things that I believe he's a puppet. No offense. Like, you can think he's a free man. You can think he's a free man on a free platform and everything. I think this dude is totally a puppet on strings. He's a great actor. He knows the mentality. He knows the points that he has to say in the conversation, right? And it makes it come off as very natural and very unique and stuff like that. Dude, they're trying to they're setting all these things are seeds for setting up for the new world we're going into, right?
Exactly.
Like, so like they're setting us up. Like, it's making it seem like, oh, we're taking down everything. Everything's getting like, yes, in that way, but also like they're trying to get the minds of the youth to already be accustomed to this stuff by the time we get there. Like, there's people who look up to Terrence Howard, for example, and things like that.
And all of this for is what? All of this for is for IOB, Internet of Bodies, right?
Yeah.
And you can't have all of this is for Internet of Bodies, Internet of Things, or anything like Internet of anything, right? Because you need to pay people. You need to monitor that data. You need to make sure everything is good. And this is exactly what the videos that G introduced me to about the entity data and the whole series about it. If you want to go check it out, I posted it on my channel. But it shows you and it tells you in there that the banks will have to transform their model into data centers, and they will use they're fusing markets. They're fusing the financial market with the health market, with the medical industry, and they're going to have a virtual assistant, your personal virtual assistant, that's going to help you manages your funds, right? So they'll say, hey, your health is like this, so why don't you go for a run? You have enough money to do this, so I booked you this. So now you can go relax and do that, right? So everything is becoming virtual. This is why they said in the future most payments will be micro payments between machines. They said 50% of payments will be between micro payments between machines. So we're moving into an economy that doesn't really that is not for humans to get paid or for a person to get paid. It's for robots. It's for machines to get paid. So that's inevitable. And exactly what G is saying, it doesn't matter who's in office or who's speaking or who's doing whatever. The agenda still goes on.
Right. The show's
well, and think about this. Think about this. Okay, so the other thing he blatantly speaks about in the interview was about the COVID vaccine and how that was basically hogwash and all these people are dying from it, and they're openly talking about it on an open platform that was always censored.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So it's like, okay, well, we all know that. So what are they trying to push this narrative where they're the good guys? Like, we know Joe Rogan's bought. He took that deal for $100 million. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, this is
Adam,
like, you have to be stupid.
Some of us do.
Adam, you're so right. What they're doing, dude, it's so clever how they get us to buy into a new thing is by making it seem like they're just like you, right?
Exactly.
They're just like you. And look, hey, we're discovering these things as well. Like, because of course they have access to all the algorithms and what people are searching and what they're interested in. So, dude, even the way Terrence Howard is dressed up in that interview, I'm sure, like, you can say he dresses up like that in the ring, whatever, dude. That's the character he's freaking playing. He's he's trying to be relatable to the millennial generation. Other people. Yeah, exactly.
And what
think about it. Like, all the millennials, like, we're all millennials for the most part. We all
really
watch his movies.
Just really quick. So the point of all this is to show that, like, we're going to feel like we got to change the future, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the trick. That's the trick is like, oh, we got to bring down the system. We got to bring in the new world that we wanted and stuff. But did we really want that? Or we were just catered along the way to want that?
Exactly, bro. And the funny thing is that
should I watch the interview or not? With
watch it. Definitely watch it.
Watch it. It's a 3-hour interview, Sean.
It's worth it.
And the funny thing is, he says he's in danger for revealing these things, that he's putting himself in danger for doing it. Dude, he's not putting himself in.
No, he got allowed.
One thing I want to add real quick is that going back to the jabby jab is that if you look at any banking document, if you've done any ounce of research about at all, if anyone is ever curious, you'll see that is the main point that every single document brings up, is that 2020 was the catalyst for today. Had 2020 not happened, we wouldn't be in the position we were in today, because 2020 was the reason why they printed that money.
Wow.
Oh yeah, well, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I think
started it though, right? I mean, ultimately that was the push of this. I mean, it really started in 2008, and then now we're kind of seeing the end line fruition of what happened and started in 2008.
I want to say something else. You guys are all geographically in all different areas throughout the United States, but there's one law firm that's like all over. It's kind of become like the Salino and Barnes. Have you guys heard of Morgan & Morgan law firm?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in their new ad, even then, they talk about having a level playing field.
Oh my gosh.
I was sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy too? Jesus Christ.
They're
First with John Deaton.
Like they said in 2020, but they did it as a trick to make it seem like we're in it with them. They what was that slogan in 2020? We're all in this together. We're all in this together. Dude, they're literally telling you in their face that their secret club is all in it together, right? That's like the real thing that they're saying. But
and you know what's hella funny is that if you look at any kind of model or any kind of anything to see where the source was, you'll see McKinsey and Company.
Hey, when they were slogan and Build Back Better, they never said Build Back Better for America or anybody. They didn't mention anybody. They said Build Back Better. Build Back Better for them is basically what they did.
The Build Back Better is part of the Bilderberg group. That's why they named it Build Back Better.
It's also 666.
That was a global advertising campaign to Build Back Better. Every major G7 country's president, prime minister, whatever, was saying the exact same thing. And I'm like, red flag.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys also could see it in your banking. So with the banking clauses that are going on, and Alan, I shared another document with you. You might want to share that with the group. That came out on a government website, and it talks about how Ripple is basically publicly now taking over a genre of Swift. So I sent that to you in text. You might want to add that to the group.
I'll add it. I mean,
but you know, it's kind of funny now that you look at everything, right? So if you go to your bank and you guys go to put a deposit in, even to put a deposit in, you now have to put your debit card in and punch your PIN in, right? Mm-hmm. Before, they never asked you for that. Why now all of a sudden do you have to give your debit card in your PIN number for a deposit? This only kind of started within the last year. It was TD Bank that was like really the first one to do it, but now Wells Fargo is doing it. All these other banks are doing it. They're ramping up your initiation to KYC and AML to such strict standards so that you will be okay with having a digitized system that monitors every.
Exactly.
Where we somehow just get used to being watched all the time.
Yes.
You know, that everything.
And funny that you mentioned KYC, Adam, because what is BitTrue and KuCoin and all these people doing, right? They're saying, hey, you need to do KYC. Even when every time I use Uphold won't let me send something without doing a verification of who I am.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. And look at your bank too. Look at your credit card. Like now, they're even all pushing. Google and all these other technologies are asking you to upload your fingerprint within their software.
Yeah.
They want you to do retinal scans with their software for your banking. I went to I'm sorry, someone talking? I feel bad if I'm cutting someone off.
No, this is me. This is Sean. I was just saying, even for a cash deposit at an ATM, you have to put in your PIN number and all that.
Oh, yeah. You have to put your PIN number in. So go look at TD Bank. If you have a TD Bank branch next to you, they were the first ones to do it. TD and Ameritrade, which makes sense because they're based out of Canada. So, that, you know, it'd be the most progressive bank to push on this initiative of global control. But Wells Fargo and Chase are starting to do this as well at certain branches, where you have to give them your debit card along with your PIN number so they can verify it's you that's actually putting the deposit of cash in your bank and not some random person, so that there's no money laundering. Because you used to be able to just go to your bank with an account number and hit like, oh, I'm depositing money. They only really cared when you were withdrawing money over a certain threshold, because they wanted to verify no one was stealing your money. But now they want to know exactly who you are at every given moment with banking. And one other agency, or I guess you could say one other entity that was doing things with identity too is, I live in Florida geographically now. So Disney, who I'm so anti, which is sad because I'm a big Star Wars advocate, love Star Wars. But if you ever go to any Disney establishment, they want you can't go into their theme parks unless you give them your thumbprint or your fingerprint.
Wow.
You have to be fingerprinted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with Universal Studios. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. To go into Disney or Universal Studios. So there's another clause you guys can look at too. It's in all of the new upgraded telephone clauses where, anything that you have on your cell phone is not yours. Everyone thinks it's like your property. It's really not. It's the actual provider's property. Yep. So that's why I always tell people, always get an unlocked telephone. You're not locked to that provider, but when you're using their service, every time you unlock your cell phone, you're uploading your data from the forward-facing camera to NSA. The NSA is getting a picture of your retinal and your exact real-time, I guess, just like atomic settlements. They're getting an atomic uploaded picture of your face for facial recognition software uploaded to them. So, I tell people, for me, I cover my forward-facing camera. I never allow my forward-facing camera. And when I take pictures that are private, I never use my cell phone. I use a Polaroid.
Nice.
So I just,
Another thing to add to that, Adam, is that from a technical standpoint, is whenever you do face unlock or do anything like that, it's a file that's saved locally on your phone. So it's your face that's been mapped out and has a serial number and it has a file and everything. That file can be accessed through Apple.
Oh, yeah. There's a company in Parsippany, New Jersey that's owned by an Israeli firm. I was actually going to work for them when I was in between jobs. I was actually supposed to work for Accenture. I was going to run their pen testing division for Wall Street out of the WeWork building right in Manhattan. Literally, the WeWork's right there where the bowl is for Wall Street. And I didn't get onboarded because we had COVID going on. But in between that job and Accenture, before getting onboarded with them, I had an interview with a company that's based out of Parsippany, New Jersey. And one of the gentlemen that interviewed me went to Full Sail University down here in Florida. The company was Israeli owned. It was part of Israeli's defense corporation. All they needed, it was basically they were working with cops when people are missing. They're working with Navy SEALs or CIA and FBI or U.S. Marshal Service. So they could geolocate you anywhere down to a pinpoint location by having your cell phone number. But they could also access all of your text messages, all of your social media, all of your pictures on your phone, and your camera in real time. So they would activate your camera. So some people will be like, oh, my light's coming on my camera. That sometimes could be the government, just watching you.
Exactly.
And then also think about this too. We were talking about pictures. Next time you go to your local CVS, your Walgreens, your Kroger, wherever you live, go and see what it costs to get your Polaroids developed at that establishment.
It's so expensive.
It's gone up. You want to talk about XRP and you want to talk about digital currencies and a bull run? The bull run was in physical pictures. They want you to go away from having physical pictures because they want all of your pictures. Yeah, yep. They want it all on your digital ID.
And this, Adam, exactly what you're saying, goes back to the banks because the banks want to be your data center. They want to be your data provider. They want they don't want you having Polaroid pictures. They don't want you having family albums.
They're going to be your best friend.
The bank wants to have your whole identity uploaded to their institution. So now what happens is that whenever you pass away, they'll turn all that information into a digital version of you and upload you. You won't even know.
Dude, Westworld.
So did you guys? You guys are looking at
creating clones of us that are going to kill us eventually. That's what's happening.
Well, that was that movie. That was that movie.
That was Westworld as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think they got that idea from?
I mean, think about every movie. Like, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of movies growing up, but I did, as a kid. All right, so there was a movie called Sphere. Do you remember that movie back in the day?
Yeah.
And whatever you think or whatever you conceptualize can come true. It could become your reality, right? So your reality could be either, even though you are living in in the metaverse, it could be a good reality or it could be a negative reality, depending on which side of the spectrum you're at. So it's like all these different things that they throw at you. It's just crazy, like, and how all of it has come to reality and fruition. Now, this paper that Alan has up, I mean, look at it. This is from the government, the IMS payment system. And if you look in that red circle, look at all of the currencies that we have been pushing and basically been holding up on a pedestal as this is going to be the backbone to the financial system. It's all there.
Nice.
Let me get the other one up too.
Yeah, Ripple's right there. Ripple blockchain right there in your face.
There you go.
1522 and then 222.
Let me see if I can share this other one somehow. Give me just a second. I'll share this other one.
It's crazy that I have these conversations with G and Adam and everything, and I'm like, dang, at least someone's paying attention. But then I realize it's only them.
No, and either one of us could be just a psyop from the elite right now, like just to be here at the ground floor with y'all, and then when we become famous, we go, do something different.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you guys this: like, Alan knows some of my private life, but some of my family members are very high up, and my own uncle tried to basically ask me, where I stood after I graduated college, because I went to a regular state university. And even when I was at my state university, I saw how interwoven my college was with the elite aristocrat society. We had John Lennon. I had him speak at my graduation. And they were utilizing our school for money laundering. We were the first college. You can look up King University out of Union, New Jersey. I was class president for 3 years with them. As a 17-year-old, when I was a freshman, I was managing a $1.9 million budget. We were fully autonomous. We were only like one of 10 colleges left in the United States that were a fully autonomous student body government, which meant we didn't need adult parenthood with our finances. We could issue our own checks. We could do pretty much anything. And we had a satellite school in China. We were one of the first universities in America that had a branch in China. And we had so many kids, aristocrat kids, coming over to our university. Now, we were just a state college. We were a small state college. So we didn't have that big of funding. And most of the kids that were there were like middle income to poor. And you would see all these Chinese kids rocking around in Teslas before Teslas were even like they were the hottest thing out, Bentleys, Rolls Royces. And I'm like, where the hell are all these Chinese kids coming from with all this money? And it had to deal with our school that was out there. And then you think about it, okay, why is John Lennon, John Legend, is so involved with our college? Why is he speaking? And then Chrissy Teigen, his wife, you find out that the both of them are in with this child molestation and, drinking adrenochrome. And it's like, wow, and it's just nuts. It really is.
It runs deep. It runs real deep. Real deep, bro. Real deep. And the crazy part is that when you talk about this or mention anything, people get turned off so fast. But then again, it's like you have the same people that are online trying to be gatekeepers or so-called gatekeepers of financial information. But then again, at the end of the day, it's like we're over here trying to tell you guys like the plan beyond the plan. Yeah, no one is paying attention. It's.
Well, I've seen brilliant. I've seen brilliant people be shelved. Like, I'd have Thanksgiving dinners with Cornel West, and Cornel West, his career was basically slammed down because he spoke out against the institutions and how things were constructed. But, then I've seen other family members of mine. I have a family member, and, I will not say his name, but he's worth, $1 billion and change. He owns a major pharmaceutical company. He's good friends with Jim Cramer. And, all those people, Bill Gates and so on. And, I see how that whole system works. Now that's through my cousin. And then my uncle sits on a board of a major banking institution. And I'm sure everyone has heard of it. Starts with a T. And the last name's Rowe. T Rowe, and I guess everyone could figure out, the what is right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he had a meeting, what was it, like a month or two ago? Now, I've been talking about XRP within my family for a long time, and they're like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. My uncle had a big banking meeting in Baltimore, in D.C., and they were talking about Ripple and XRP. Why does T. Rowe Price have a majority of its holdings in the digital asset XRP?
Yeah.
So
we got a rocket.
think about that.
You guys might hear some background noise. We got a rocket going up right here. I'm right on the
Alan,
space.
stop making excuses. We know you got some wicked stuff going on in the background over there.
No, we have a SpaceX rocket going up right now.
He's like, damn, Adam's onto us. We got to get out of here.
I got
Yeah.
a
Alan's
public
not
viewing
up, bro.
angle where I live at too, so I can. If I'm sure you hear it right now, Adam, because you're on the Space Coast too. Anyway,
I'll probably
just
see it in the next
if you-
minute.
If you hear it, if you hear some ba-boom, that's what it is. Okay. Anyway, awesome that we have a rocket at the same time of some new regulations.
Yeah, that's our XRP going to the moon right now.
And we got a full moon coming up here in the next few days, so this is cool. Usually we have a pump during a full moon, so
Actually, since we're talking about the planets and the moon, very interesting that we get this FIT21 bill passed this week, and then next weekend, big event with the switching over from T+2 to T+1 settlement cycle, and that's going to be happening around the weekend after May 28th, which goes into June, and then June 3rd, we have a planetary alignment happening, a very rare planetary alignment that's happening with Saturn, Mercury, Venus, and some other planets. Like, very
June
interesting, the timing of all that stuff.
And that's the star that you see with the Riddlers where the rocket's always shooting off to.
Yep. And then we got this regulation right after a full moon.
I like to sing it, and then the moon
That would
and
be
the June
great.
and the spring.
Exactly.
But not only is this all happening, it's all happening on a leap year.
Yep.
Yep.
Because we're leapfrogging, and have you heard them say that? We're leapfrogging
Yep.
Right.
the financial system?
Of them saying exactly those words.
Yeah.
And quantum leaps or giant leaps. They love saying leaps.
Augustus
True,
just said we
that's
need to
very
make big
true.
leaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, this
So-
is finally.
And I think about it, and why is all this other stuff coming out about Bruce Lee? Like, have you noticed that too? Like Bruce Lee's death, because and you know why he died filming what movie?
Enter the
Oh,
Dragon.
Crow.
No, that's the son. That's the son, Crow.
Oh, the son died. What
the
was
son
the movie?
Enter the Dragon, right?
That's what I
Oh
said,
my
Enter the Dragon.
gosh.
Yeah,
And what year is this?
I came up with that out of
Entering the
nowhere. I
Dragon.
can't remember. when
Dude,
that
these
was.
Yeah.
dudes are time travelers, spiritual.
So
It's insane.
we're in a dragon year, right? So they're talking about Bruce
Tiny calendar.
Lee dying and how he died wrong. Enter the Dragon. His son's the Crow. The Crow is also related to the Phoenix.
Mhm.
And there's
Phoenix
a
rises
remake
from
of
the-
Crow coming out this year too.
I know. See?
Who's JB? Who's JB mentioned 3 days after JB?
Joe
We need to
Biden.
figure- Yeah, but is he gonna die? I mean, after the death,
already
3
dead.
days after.
He's
the death.
been dead for
He's been
like 10
dead,
years.
bro.
Yeah, but 3 days, is that 3 years or 3 days? I mean, come on, let's face it. I mean, the puppet's still there, so maybe after the puppet dies, 3 days after that, we got some significant something that has been, predicted and put in the charts several times. So I believe when you were alluding to Adam, the elite family, elite people that are in the other side of the matrix, let's say, I believe they have to literally tell us what the hell they're doing, and not in the exact sense, but they have to allude to what they're doing. And it all goes back to law. Law is everything. God set up law from the beginning of time. Mankind has followed in the maritime law, and now here we are still abiding by still law. Everything.
Everything is we live in a world of Satanists who do everything based off a satanic ritual. That's just the fact. So when people start realizing that, and then you start paying attention to where they work from and how they operate, they operate from our old world, not from this current state of mind that we live in today. That's why everything's so ritualistic, and they do everything based upon the planet and the timing of that, because they operate based off a 13-month calendar, not off the 12 that we perceive.
True. So can you allude to that a little bit, Nerdy? Are we on that 13-month? Well, not. So it's like,
this is the reason, Alan. This is the reason why Ripple. This is the reason why Ripple announced their stablecoin in April, because April 1st is the actual New Year, right? So it was the beginning of the new year. It's the beginning of the dragon, like what Adam said was the beginning of this cycle. It's all real. It's all real, ritualistic. All of it. Nothing.
Guys, I just want to tell you all, I work for the CIA. I just never told you.
Nice.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've been lying about everything.
We're nothing but liars on here. Don't
worry. Don't worry. I went rogue, so you guys don't have to worry about it.
You went rogue, nice.
I love the fact that
you could be the next guest on Joe Rogan Experience to just keep fooling the masses.
Or on Project Veritas as a whistleblower.
Hey, I tell you what, when I don't know if you guys caught the one with Jordan Peterson. Did you catch the one with Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson? That was a very interesting one. Now, Jordan Peterson is not a type of man that you want to come up against intellectually. So when you put them two together, and he was literally trying to, I can't remember exactly what he was alluding to, Joe Rogan, but he got shut down by Jordan Peterson in about 3 seconds because he didn't know what he was talking about. And he should have came with his A game, because the subject he was talking about was really, a heated debate. But now that this Terrence Howard thing was very interesting as well, because he's a very bright mind. Don't know where he stands on the spiritual end. Realistically, when I say spiritual end, I mean, like, is he really for Christ, or is he for more of a spiritualism, which is a kind of movement that is, in my opinion, not a good way.
If you watch the video, he basically comes off more spiritualized. He talks about that energy never dies. That we don't die, we pass and transform. That and the Bible talks about it too, right? So he's touching on the Bible, but he wasn't necessarily. And he talked about Christ too. Actually, he talked about Christ. He brought up the Bible, Alan. So you need to watch it, but. Look, a lot of people bring up the Bible, but they mock the Bible at the same time. So, but you also have to remember, he even said, like, his dad was in prison for manslaughter. Like, the guy had a crazy childhood. I'm not going to knock Terrence Howard. I'd love to sit down and, like, talk with him and, figure him out a little bit deeper. Not that it would happen in one conversation. But I think if you're able to, like, be in a room with someone and there's no one around, you could kind of pull back the layers to the onion and tear down the walls, Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I met Cat Williams in person. So when I was in college, I had that budget that I was telling you about. So I got to hire a whole bunch of people to come to our school and perform. I actually smoked with Cat Williams, played basketball with Cat Williams after he did his whole stand-up at our college. And the dude is really down to earth and genuine. I really do believe Cat Williams was ousted by the elites, but at the same time, why is he now all of a sudden coming out and being allowed to speak against them so much on YouTube? I don't know.
By different rules now.
Well, no, I think what happened is you get extorted, right? They come to you and they say, listen, this is how it's going to be. You can no longer to continue going against us. Either you want to spend the rest of eternity in prison, or you want us to just off you, or you're just going to play by our rules and we'll make your life so much easier if you just go ahead with it.
All those people, like anybody who gets ousted or is like seeming like they're rebelling against the status quo of the government, or trying to reveal the cabal and all that type of stuff, they eventually have that last scene like in Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise and I forgot what the other actor's name is. Whatever. He plays the doctor.
Kidman,
No. It's just before that, where he's in the pool room with this guy, and the guy basically is telling Tom Cruise, like, listen, you're dealing with powers that you don't know that you're dealing with.
Right.
And if you don't keep your mouth shut, it'll end up being just like what this, like, basically Tom Cruise witnessed like a woman dying in the premises of like that secret party or whatever, right? And
well, it was his mistress. It was the girl he was having an affair with who actually covered for him and took her own life to allow him to continue living. Yeah.
Right. But they made it seem in the newspaper that she died of an overdose, a drug overdose, and that she had been, they say all her history of how she had trouble with that type of stuff, like how they cover it up. So like they're basically telling Tom Cruise, like, if you don't keep your mouth shut, you'll have the same fate. Like, so, that's the thing where I could see where, maybe they did that with Pat Williams or,
Meanwhile, they're going balls deep in his wife on a round table.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's dark and but it's good to be like, it's like you're playing a chess against these people. You got to be thinking like, they're trying to trick you in every way that they want, and the devil doesn't come to you with spikes and horns. He comes to you in what you want. He comes to you in your desires. So if Terrence Howard, if we're saying he's acting, he's coming to us in saying everything we want to hear, but at the same time being able to plant the seeds for the new way of thinking of the type of future they're trying to build,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's the way I received it. That's the way that I, got it. Like that was the vibes that I was getting right away. I had no, divisiveness of going, oh man, is he being genuine or not? Like I was like, no, dude, this dude is straight up acting. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I only caught an hour and a half of it and catch the whole thing. I'm going to be finishing it up here. So I didn't miss some of the stuff. So thanks for bringing up to my attention what I did not catch out of it. Because it's hard to listen to everything that everybody says and retain all of it. But yeah, I mean, there's always the guy's intelligent. The guy has a lot of knowledge. But, there with knowledge also comes great deception as well. And that's where too much knowledge can really mess with you and destroy your real true sought out intentions that you were meant to be utilizing instead of what you put in your brain. Or I know a lot of people that were initially brought up with no knowledge of anything and have expanded their brain past the point of ever exceeding expectation wise, including myself. I mean, for the first 15 years of my life, I did nothing but waste my time. And then I realized that I need to move forward and go ahead and put my 110% effort in everything I do. And every moment since then, I've really accelerated for the most part. And I pushed my brain past the point of no return a few years ago and just literally took on 2 new careers that I never thought that I would ever do. So, and learning this new asset class is a lot. A lot of us have put so much time into learning this, but it's something that we love, which is easy to do. And, that's why we're able to share some brilliant knowledge with the community like we're doing right now. And I love being a part of this. And thank you guys. I want to shout out to you guys that are on the panel right now that are here and sharing your knowledge and taking the time out for the community. And thank you guys, the community itself, for being here every week. And I've seen some of you that I haven't seen before, and I want to shout out a couple of you before we get closer. We're going to go for about 15 more minutes, so I want to shout out some names here. Looking good. I haven't seen you before. You may have been here before, but welcome in. And Nathaniel, I appreciate you coming in. I know you've been here before. Appreciate you showing back up. and a few other people I've seen here throughout the chat. Jay Henry, see you in the chat, brother. Good for you to show up tonight. I know you didn't know if you were going to make it. Monkey Business, good to see you, brother. And guys, I know you got some more stuff to share. So anybody else got something to share in the next 15 minutes? Take your turn and go around the table here and share what you got for the rest of the community.
I don't have anything else. I actually got to head out right now, but it was great talking to you guys. It was a good show, but interesting times that we're living in. There's things that are happening, which is pretty cool. There's laws, the regulations that is coming in hard and fast, which is pretty cool, but expected. I'm looking forward to the return of the other character. When the Orange Man comes back, it's going to be very interesting to see what path this goes. But yeah, I am so ready for a change of pace. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
So,
but I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're seeing steps taken, like the Fit 21 bill being passed today at the House is big. Its next step is to the Senate, and then hopefully we can turn it into official law. That would be amazing. But this is still going to probably be a process. I don't see it. I mean, I hope it can turn around really quick, but knowing how, slow regulations has been thus far, but the overwhelming support for the Fit 21 thing was very encouraging. So it could lead to fast action, and possibly some action against the SEC very soon, which would be great. But
which
yeah,
it will,
still,
right? Because what was passed today, it solidifies Ripple's defense, right?
Yeah,
because now they have more weapons on their belt.
Exactly, Dirty. Dude, it's so in defense of Ripple, it's not even funny. It's like they already know Ripple won that case too, and now they're just doing everything else around it.
For sure, bro. For sure. We're just watching a like I keep saying, it's controlled demolition. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna get going, Alan. I'm gonna get going. G, it was nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, always good talking with you, bro.
Coming on, G, and Nerdy. I appreciate you coming on. So, we got a few minutes left, so we got a little bit more to talk about. And so FPS 420, thanks for coming in here. And I shouted out Monkey Business, and there was one other person I saw in the chat that I didn't notice before. I wanted to shout you out. Thanks for coming in. Hey, guys, if you like the comment, please like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. Helps the algorithms out, get more people here. I do pay for StreamYard to have everybody on. So if you feel like you've gotten something out of this and you feel like donating to help pay for StreamYard, I got a link up in the top. The little coffee symbol is a scan. You can scan it. It's Buy Me a Coffee app, and you could donate to the channel if you feel like you got some value out of this. It does help out in a big way. I don't ask for anything. I can do this for free all day long, but it does help pay and offset some of my costs. So if you feel like you want to share, please do. And that being said, G, one other thing that was tweaking my mind. So we had a little run on SHX today. I didn't catch that. How much did it go up, by the way? Do we have any updates on that?
Well, with SHX, let me see really quick. SHX had a good. It's running right now pretty well, but it's up 9% in the past 24 hours. I mean, really, we need to see this thing break past 2 pennies. Is really what we need to see. We know we can get to a penny. We know we can get to a penny 5, but then does it get rejected again? Right. So that's what we need to see. And since it's such a low cap crypto, this type of volatility is expected, where you get 24-hour runs of 10%. Doesn't mean anything special is going on. Maybe there is, sure. But once again, it's a very low cap crypto, so it can go up 10% and then crash 20%, go up 30%. And, that's what happens when you have such low market cap for the market for SHX. So it's great to get this 24-hour turnaround, but we need to see more juice come out of Stronghold and start taking us back, past the penny range, past the 2 pennies range, and then who knows from there.
other one I was thinking about, you think XStar still got some kind of good potential movement that we could see in this speculative bull run? Are you still bullish on XStar?
Oh, I am still bullish on XStar and the XLM ecosystem in general. I mean, you just pick your crypto. I'm bullish on it in the XLM ecosystem. Sora bonds rolling out. We're not fully underway with smart contracts yet, and DeFi projects and stuff like that within the Stellar ecosystem. So I think XLM's going to have the way Solana was in 2019, 2020. I think we're going to see the first. I think we're going to see XLM be like that for this next bull cycle. And, I think that's fantastic, right? But I think we still need to see it building out some stuff. We need to get NFT marketplaces that are really underway. We need to get some DeFi, more projects coming out. Aqua needs to, the Aqua liquidity layer for XLM. All this stuff is still waiting for fully rolled out smart contracts. They're still in a phased release right now.
Yeah, I know we're going to get some serious movement on these chains. I mean, let's face it. We first now actually have the options of smart contracts, both on chain. So, just having that interoperability and just having more functionality on both ledgers is just incredible. I mean, we should definitely have some major movements on these coins. It just makes sense. I mean, they have the most functionality, they have the most interoperability at this point in time, and what's really holding it up is the question. We starting to have the regulations in place right now, so if we actually get something hammered in, a lot of these utility-based platforms are going to be, in my opinion, long term the best winner. That's why I'm most diversified out into the utility base. And I do have my Hail Marys, like your deep reds. You got to throw some seed out there, because eventually, out of all the millions of tokens that we have, literally, some of the not so great coins, some of the deep reds like we're mentioning here, eventually one of them is going to kick and get you some major profits, which we can roll in the utility based assets. That's why I like. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, man, I just already lost the train of thought on it. Continue going on. Sorry. I need to get back on my...
all the millions of tokens that we have, like Aqua, for instance, legendary. Thank you for putting that out. Like XX and some other of these deep reds that we got. A lot of us have accumulated millions of these tokens, and XStar, it's just fractions of a penny. You can have a million XStar for just hardly anything.
Dude, I joke about it, but Blue Crew owns half of some of these protocols. It's got to be. Because they've been in the deep reds for so long, and they've been many zeros for so long, that Blue Crew's got to own a majority of some of these cryptos. We know for sure that we own the majority of SHX. There's no question with that one. But with some of these other cryptos, Dogstar is a good opportunity. But I remember what I was going to say. And people right now are chasing. They're just looking at recent history. So they're okay, what just pumped in the last 4 to 5 months? I'm going to reinvest in those cryptos in the red, instead of going for the ones that were manipulated during those months, or going sideways and being really red during those months, which were the ISO cryptos, right? All those, except for SHX, but SHX has a lot of ground to cover. But a majority of them were all majorly suppressed, while a lot of other, meme coins were taken off. The Solana ecosystem was taken off, all this stuff. So people are going to go back to that well in those deep reds. But, they're already up hundreds or thousands of % on the year, but they're just buying the short-term deep red. We're buying the yearly deep red, right? We're buying the cryptos that are still in the negative in the reds on the year, or maybe they've made a little bit of gain on the year, like an XRP, like an XLM. And I think those are going to be the ones that show up the biggest in this next bull cycle, in this next speculative, because they didn't even get to experience any movement from this last one. So they have a lot of room to catch up, and then some,
100%.
Well, I mean, Alan and I were talking about this the other day, and think about it. Once this becomes an ESDR, and they try and tell us that we have to turn our tokens in, right? Just think about the people that don't turn it in and hold on to the value. Let's say we follow John Deaton's valuation of like $15,000 to $35,000 in
Val Hill
XRP.
Capital, not John Deere.
Valhall Capital. Actually, I'm sorry. And let's say it hits that valuation, right? Well, what do you think is going to happen when everyone cashes it in for that valuation? Do you think it's going to stay at that price? No, it's going to skyrocket above that. And the real valuation is going to come out. And I told Alan this. I told Alan, hold on for as long as you can. People are going to sell out. They're going to take profit. But why would you do that to yourself when you know that this asset is going to be impossible to get back once utility is flipped? Once that switch is flipped, and then they issue, okay, everyone's got to turn in any XRP that's out there. We'll give you $30,000 to $35,000 for your token. Once you give it in, and 3 months to 6 months goes by, that token's going to shoot up to $1 million a coin easily.
Just same thing with silver and gold.
Exactly.
Drops. Man, we're not even in the era of micropayments. Like all this stuff that this digital currency is made for, it's made for machines. It's made for machines to make transactions with and to make nano payments, micro payments with. And we're not even in that era yet because we don't have like the new, core settlement mechanisms already in place. Like the infrastructure has been being set for like the past decade and even up to now. But like we're not even into the full on, getting to really see what this type of technology could do,
Hey, Adam,
and the reason why is because and this is what helps when you have like the FIT 21 bill being passed. It allows for quality developers to come in, and like right now there's only like on average, like Ethereum on average has about 400 to 500 active developers every quarter. Dude, that's such a small amount of developers for a blockchain. Like we're talking the hundreds of thousands of developers for one blockchain in the future, or not, what I'm saying is like one blockchain in this, mainstream future that we're going into, it should be like hundreds of thousands of developers that are on it. But the reason it's not hundreds of thousands of developers now is because the legit developers, the ones that work for these institutions or big tech, are waiting for freaking regulation.
Yeah, but do you really think we'll need that many with quantum computing coming online and then AI like literally creating bots and digital assistants to be able? I don't know if we need even half of the amount of developers that we currently have right now. If they can write code and script, Python code, and I mean,
it's not about the maintaining of the blockchain. It's about building the decentralized applications on top of that blockchain. That's what the developers are key for, is having developers with innovative ideas that know how to use these blockchains and create usable products that we can all that's the type of developers that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like developers that are just there to serve code to the blockchain.
Gotcha. No, that's why I'm asking, G. I appreciate you sharing that because, I think really what's going to be the future of security for jobs even, these high-paying jobs, a lot of people lost, in this downward market that we just had. And, we're starting to see some of them come back, but not in the scale that we did back in 2021. We're not quite there yet, but I think this catalyst could be the push, now that we're starting to actually get some regulatory clarity. We had Judge Netburn coming out and rolling XRP and non-security. We got the FTC finally potentially getting back the full reins on digital assets, at least what Warren actually came out and said, she the first one that said crypto security? I want to know who labeled it crypto security first, because Maxine Waters must have said it about 10 times in this meeting today. But there's a different, now we have some verbiage, guys, pay attention. We have crypto security and we have crypto commodity now. If you notice this language that was just been talked about in these last few days, we're hearing these terminologies. So Maxine Waters is saying crypto securities, and now that we have to really pay attention to that, guys. It's getting to that hour. I got to keep it to 2 hours. I got a family that needs to get in bed. So that being said, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys, and all the chat for showing up and the wonderful comments you guys are sharing. Anybody else got anything else they want to share before we end the stream?
Thanks, Alan.
I just want to say thank you, Alan. Thank you for hosting this space and allowing everyone to speak. I got kicked off, I guess, a little earlier. Maybe I was, who knows? But when I came back on, everyone was gone too. What happened to Sean? What happened to everyone?
People got stuff going on tonight. It's
Okay.
It's been interesting. I appreciate everybody being here though tonight and showing up and sharing all the knowledge that you guys do every single time. And it means a lot to me. It helps me keep going every week and doing this. It takes a lot to do this every week. And I do appreciate those that make the effort to be here. So thank you very much, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. And I'll see you guys next week on the next one. Have a great night, everyone.
Peace out, Alan. Peace out, Adam.
And Adam.